Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video where I am doing two more looks with the beautiful Ireland Wild Atlantic Way palette from Nomad Cosmetics. This palette launches today and I have already done a video which went up on Saturday showing you guys some more blue-green sorts of looks because it's quite a blue-green heavy palette, but I thought that it would be valuable to you as viewers who may prefer more neutral looks to show you a couple of different options. So that's what today's video is all about. Stick around if you're interested in seeing it. I did receive this palette in PR. It launches today, March 12th at midnight EST, and the price is going to be $49. This palette is based on the Wild Atlantic Way in Ireland. The card that comes with the palette says, "Come explore with us the Emerald Isle's magnificent west coast. May the beautiful colors of it inspire a look that 'tis grand and glorious. The Irish blessing that we all know and love. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall soft upon your fields." With some of the proceeds from this palette purchase, Nomad Cosmetics is proud to support the Irish Wildlife Trust that works to raise awareness of Ireland's rich natural heritage and protect it for future generations. Okie dokie, so the goal for today's video is to do two more looks with the palette, but I want to lean more neutral. The first two looks I did were pretty green and blue. I mean, honestly, it's a very green and blue palette, right? But there are neutral tones in here and some much lighter tones as well, so I want to play with the more neutral colors. I might dabble a bit in the greens or the blues, but it'll be more of an accent color. So let's just dive right in. I have already primed my eyes with the Glamlight Icing Primer. Everything I'm using, as usual, is linked below in the description box, and I think today's video is going to be a smidge quicker. Maybe I'll speed through the looks a little bit more because I'm filming before the kids wake up and they've been waking up a little earlier than usual, so I don't want to push my luck too much. I would like to get this done before they wake up. Let's go. I think I'm going to start with a halo eye into the shade Bunratty Castle. I've already primed my eyes with the Glamlight Icing Primer. Everything I'm using, as usual, is linked down below in the description box. This palette is launching today, the 12th, and I believe she said it was midnight EST. I'm gonna confirm that or correct myself on the screen if I'm wrong, but I think she said midnight EST, and the price is going to be $49. So I've already got a video up showing you two looks using the blues and greens, and I'm kind of excited to dive into the neutrals because even though I do love colorful eyeshadow, sometimes I do actually enjoy a neutral look. I find that I often enjoy neutral looks more on other people because when I do my own eyeshadow, I'm like, but it could have been colorful. But you know, I'm getting to the point where that's not always what I want. Sometimes I want to go a bit more soft or, you know, just quieter. Let's take Danny Boy. I haven't used Danny Boy yet. I'm gonna put this on the edge here. Oh, that is darker on the lid than I think it looks in the pan. It could be my early morning lighting. It's about 6 a.m. and it could be the lighting, but I think that's a bit darker than I was expecting. Let's go into Connemara and lay that over top just to transition a bit more. Okay, I am going to deepen back again with a little more Danny Boy with a smaller and tighter brush. This one is a Blend Bunny B1. This is a Blend Bunny B2, so it's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit more densely packed, and I want to intensify these inner and outer corners a smidge because they got a bit lost in the blending. When I do a halo eye, I don't generally connect in the center. I used to, but I have decided that I don't prefer that shape on my own eye. Again, it's one thing to see it on somebody else. It's another thing to do it yourself and work with your own anatomy and face shape and eye shape and whatnot and figure out what you personally like to actually wear. I was thinking of going right into the lower lash line, but I think I'll do the shimmer first and finish the halo eye and then decide if I want to do different colors on the lower lash line. I'll use my finger, pick up Savage Beauty again. I just really like this shimmer, and it's going to give me a bit of contrast from, or against rather, the other colors because it's different. It's not the gold shimmer. And I like contrast. The reason I'm using my finger is because it's going to give me a bit of a looser, more blown out application. which is what I wanted. Now back into the fluffy blending brush, no additional product. I'm simply tapping the edges. I mean, that's looking nice. It's pretty, right? It's pretty. All right, let's do for the lower lash line. I haven't used the shade The Wild Rover, and it's kind of calling to me. And it's green, but it's one of the softest greens in the palette. So I'm going to take it with a very tight and kind of pinched and small blending brush. It's got a bit of length to it. It's not a circular shape. Going into the Wild Rover very lightly, and I'm going to lay this on my lower lash line. This is just going to wake up the look a little bit. It's a lovely spring green matte. So it's going to bring in a smidge of color, but not make it a green look. It's still very much a neutral look. Of course, if you didn't want to dive into green, you could just do the same original mattes on the lower lash line. I would start with the lightest one and then get a tighter, maybe smudger brush and go into Bunratty Castle again. So let's do that with a smudger brush into Bunratty, and I'm just gonna put this on the outer corner of the lower lash line to merge into the green and help it meet with the outer corner on the upper area. Quite a small blending brush into Mullen Head, which is the inner corner for me in this palette. And I think just for fun, I'll take that small brush and go back into Savage Beauty and tap it right here. Again, using it dry is going to give me more of a blown out sparkle as opposed to quite an impactful shine. It's still sparkly. I mentioned in my first video that these shimmer shades do have fallout, so just be aware of that. Maybe do your eyes and then your face if you are bothered by having some extra sparkle down here. Spraying, of course, would control that, but you know, this is the look. I'm going to finish it off, show you a close-up, and then we'll get to the other side. All right, I'm pivoting. Hopefully you guys can get a decent angle on this eye. I don't usually film this eye, so doing these two look videos kind of throws me through a bit of a loop, but that's okay. I'm going to dive right into Mullen Head with a larger blending brush. And again, I'm trying to stay more neutral. Make sure you guys are getting some lighting. Try to stay more neutral, but it's quite a heavy green palette. So it's a fun little challenge, but definitely possible. I'm going to blow this out through my inner corner area and hope that my brush is not dirty. I'm just really enjoying this light sage green, so I think I'll lay it on the whole inner corner lid space as well, because maybe I won't put a shimmer there. I haven't fully decided, honestly. The only, besides Savage Beauty that I used over here, the only true more neutral shimmer is Ring of Kerry, which is very gold. And I consider it to be a neutral, but it can be quite intense. Okay, same brush. Let's just go into Danny Boy and put this on the outer half in the same way, except I won't put it on the lid space. I'm going to use this as my transition color. I think I'm going to try to deepen this outer corner a little bit, but I don't have any darker neutral tones. There's Bunratty Castle, which I used on the other side, which I absolutely could use here. But I think I might dip into a dark green in a very light way. See how I can deepen this area without making the look super green. This Danny Boy shade is interesting. It's definitely more of a gray-based brown in a very light tone, almost pastel, but without the white base. It's a good transition tone for the colors in this palette. It's kind of like a misty, foggy sort of gray-brown. Okay, let me deepen the outer corner. I'm going to go in with a Blend Bunny B4. I'm going to pick up Tancha. I think I'm pronouncing that right-ish. It is this one up here, which I haven't used yet. I'm going in super, super lightly. You can always build and deepen and intensify a color, but you can't take it away. So I'm just tapping in really lightly because, again, I want this to be a more neutral leaning look. I don't want it to just be a green that takes over. So I am trying to slightly deepen this outer area. I'm going to mix Tancha with Bunratty Castle to bring in more of a warm, neutral hint. Basically trying to create a dark brown as opposed to a dark green. So if I mix Tancha with the Bunratty, then I get something in the middle. Yeah, that's actually looking pretty good. It is reading neutral. It's not reading Luck of the Irish. You guys have to tell me if you're liking the palette, if you plan on picking it up. Remember that the palette itself is linked below in my description box. It's not any kind of affiliated link. I don't make any money if you guys buy this palette. I'm just linking it for your benefit. And again, I got this palette through like a one-time micro-influencer collaboration between myself and Nomad Cosmetics, so I'm not expecting to get more PR from them. This is kind of a one-time thing. Felicia said that it's a bit of a revolving schedule, so maybe in another year and a half I might have the opportunity again, but I don't have any affiliate code or anything with Nomad, so it's just a link directly to Nomad's website. Okay, that is definitely reading neutral, I think. It's not reading green everywhere, and I think it's pretty. Mixing Bunratty Castle in really helped tone down the greenness, honestly, the color of Tancha. And now I'm gonna take a flat brush and go into Ring of Kerry. I'm not gonna spray this. I'm just gonna dab into the pan a little bit. Like I said, this is a pretty intense gold, and I don't want it to just overtake the entire look. So here's Ring of Kerry on a dry flat brush. It's bringing some sparkle and shine into the center area. One of the reasons I'm not going in really intensely with this Ring of Kerry shade is because I don't really have like a darker brown to bridge the gap over here. So I don't want my shimmer lid shade to be darker or much brighter or bolder than my outer corner. I mean, unless it were a halo eye, which it's not. I'm really enjoying this shimmer formula from Nomad. It's not really crazy wet looking or emollient, the kind that bleeds into the pan or bleeds into the palette and makes the palette kind of oily. I don't think it's that kind of shimmer formula. It's reminding me a little of Blend Bunny, Udenzai. Like it's quite sparkly. There is a decent amount of fallout, but it's just lightweight and not very heavy, which is perfect. That is absolutely my shimmer preference. Back into the smaller blending brush that I used to create this outer corner. I think I'll go back into Bunratty a little bit more. And when I say that, it makes me think of The Wind in the Willows with Frog and Toad and Ratty. Okay, that's nice. I think I'm going to carry the colors down through the lower lash line, partly because I just want to, and also partly because I do have a little bit of gold fallout from Ring of Kerry, and I'm just going to play into that instead of trying to wipe it away. So with this smaller blending brush, it's a little crescent shaped so it can follow the curve of my eye. We'll go into Danny Boy. And then with a flat topped or smudger brush, I'm going into Bunratty here. And finally, to deepen it just a little bit more, back into Tancha, like 1 or 2 little taps in only the outer third. Good. Finally, the inner corner highlight is going to be with a very, very small, precise brush. I'm going back into Ring of Kerry. I'm going to spray it this time. Spraying it gives you precision and controls fallout a little bit. So I'm going to lay Ring of Kerry on my inner corner and down onto this lower lash line area in like the inner third. Now if you don't spray your shimmers, or you can just use NYX glitter glue, that'll help control them, keep them in place. If you generally have creasing or maybe your shimmers tend to travel up, I know Katie Marie here on YouTube, she's always saying that her shimmers will get up into her eyebrows. So you can help that a little bit with a NYX glitter glue or some sort of tacky primer. I have it, I just never use it. I'm usually pretty content to spray my shimmers or replace them down with my finger. Okay, so that's all she wrote. I will finish this eye and show you a close-up. Okay, these are the two looks all said and done. I'm going to tell you what I did to finish off because I think this video is shorter than my last one. In my waterline, I just used, where is it? I don't even have it with me. Ha! This ColourPop Creme Gel Liner. The shade is Extra Frosting. I thought about doing black over here, but I'm going to be wearing these two looks for the rest of the day. They're close enough, and I wear glasses, and nobody sees me. So actually, I think I have someone coming over for dinner. Anyway, I don't really care. I'll probably wear them both for the rest of the day, so I decided to do the same waterline color. But if I were doing only this look, I probably would have done black because it's a little bit smokier, just a smidge. Anyway, Extra Frosting from ColourPop. I do have mascara on, and then on my lips I have Italia Deluxe Fine Lip Liner in the shade 1064 Hazelnut, and I topped it with the NYX Butter Gloss. The color is Bit of Honey. That's everything except for a bit of blush from ColourPop. This is the shade Matchmaker, and then I have the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Again, I used these two shades for a face highlighter. So that's the whole look, or actually the whole two looks. I like them. I think they're pretty, and honestly, I'm glad that I was able to show you guys much more neutral leaning kinds of looks from a very blue-green heavy palette. Now, I do have a few final thoughts about this palette now that I've used it 2 days in a row, done 4 different looks, and I've used almost every shade in my looks. I only have not used Blarney Stone and Croch Patrick. Those are the only two I haven't used in my looks, but I did swatch all of them. So I have a couple thoughts. I think that it's beautiful overall. I really, really like the shimmer formula. Again, lots of fallout, so maybe do your eyes before your face, but I like the variety and the undertones. There's no repetition within the shimmers. I think that there's a tiny bit of repetition in the mattes themselves. Like I said, it's quite green heavy, but between these two greens here, they have different undertones. They're lovely, but they're a little bit close. These two as well, kind of close. Obviously, one's more blue and one's more green, but also with the depth of this bright teal, or like not bright, but a really, really pigmented, saturated teal. Maybe one or both of these, or perhaps this one, leaning a bit more on the redundant side. There's definitely no shade in here that dupes out anything else, but a couple of them are a little bit close. And then of course we have this navy blue over here, which is close to this and close to this. So I'm not sure how I would have personally tweaked it. Maybe I would have done quite a dark, like really dark blue shade instead of this, and then brought this a hair lighter. And then as far as the greens, I think I would have done more of a pastel green. That's what I would have done, is a pastel green, because it's such a green heavy palette and we have lots of mid to darker tones. I would have done a pastel green instead of one of these. It is a beautiful palette. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just a few constructive comments. I think it's going to be a beautiful companion for the America's Parks palette or the Monteverde palette from Nomad, and that one's my favorite. I'm trying to think. Of the Nomad palettes I have, I can't think of any others that would be close to this one in Color Story. I know I mentioned in my first video that the colors of the shimmers remind me a little bit of Royal Europe. So if you have Royal Europe, this would probably pair beautifully with that as well, because in that palette you're going to get the rich, deep, saturated tones, and then here you have some lighter shimmers and also a couple of lighter mattes. Overall, beautiful palette. Beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait to see other people's videos, because at the time that I'm filming this, and also my previous video, the palette hasn't even been fully revealed on Instagram, so I look forward to seeing other people's videos and looks. It's a very pretty launch, and I'm so grateful. Again, thank you very much to Felicia and Auntie Nomad Cosmetics for sending this my way. It's not cheap to send PR as far as the product itself, but also shipping costs, and I'm just so grateful to you guys for letting me share in this exciting launch with you. So thank you, Nomad Cosmetics, and thank you to everyone who took the time to watch this video. I'd love to know which look you prefer. Tell me which one is your favorite, look 1 or look 2. Be sure to check the description box for information about this palette and the link, and I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye!